Would you please stand for the playing of the Barbados National Anthem? You may be seated. Chairman of the Board of Trustees, Legacy Foundation, Mrs. Maureen Graham. Members of the Board of Trustees, Legacy Foundation. Chairperson and members of the Board of Directors, Project Discovery, Inc. Mrs. Stacia Austin, Principal of the Ellerslie School. Mrs. Mitchell Maxwell, Principal of Springer Memorial School. Members of the Executive Committee, Project Discovery, Inc. Legacy Project Discovery Bolt Project Team Technical Advisor, Adam Clark. Other distinguished guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this wonderful afternoon as Legacy Foundation and Project Discovery, Inc. launch the Barbados Online Learning and Teaching Project. My name is Hanif Moore, and I'm Program Development Coordinator for Legacy Foundation. I'm happy to see you all here and happy to see so many young people here in the audience with us today. I now invite Sister Patsy Critchlow, Secretary, Legacy Foundation Board of Trustees, to lead us in the invocation. Sister Patsy.
Good afternoon. Let us all stand for a word of prayer. Almighty and most merciful Father, whose blessed Son came not to serve, to be served, but to serve. Bless all those who follow in his footsteps. Give themselves to the service of others. We come before you this evening with praise and thanksgiving for the work of the Legacy Foundation. May we continue to be a beacon of light and hope for all who reach out for our services, and may we grow from strength to strength. Dear Father, be in our midst this evening, and bless this evening's proceedings. Above all is asked in the name of your dear Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sister Patsy. You may be seated, ladies and gentlemen. I must extend apologies on behalf of Senator the Honorable Kay McConney, Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology. She was meant to be with us this afternoon, but was called away at the last minute for quite an urgent meeting. She sends her warmest regards and is quite saddened that she wasn't able to be here as we launch this program. I now invite Mrs. Austin, Principal of Ellerslie Secondary, to give us her welcome remarks.
One thing I'm assured of, when it's time to call my name, there will be a pause before it, and then there will be some stutter with it. But it is all right. There's no love lost between the two of us. Chairman of the Board of Trustees of Legacy Foundation, Mrs. Maureen Graham. Members of the Board of Trustees of Legacy Foundation. Chairperson and members of the Board of Directors of Project Discovery Incorporated. My colleague, Mrs. Michelle Maxwell, Principal of the Springer Memorial School. Our Chairman of the Board of Management of the Ellerslie School. Members of the Executive Council and Committee, of Project Discovery Barbados. I've just renamed you and named you. Project Discovery Bolt Team, the technical advisor, Mr. Adam Clark. President of the PTA Association of the Ellerslie School. Members of the alumni of the Ellerslie School. Other distinguished guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, students and colleagues, good afternoon to you. It is indeed a warm afternoon at the Ellerslie School. You are, like me, enjoying the heat and suffering from the heat at the same time. It is indeed good to welcome you, and I take this opportunity to share with you a few thoughts that have come home through this process that we've gone through over the past few months. In our world where we have now to grapple with and deal with streams of information, instant feedback through things such as smartphones, tablets, and laptops, there's surely more that can be done and that has to be done to engage our students. And in order to effect this, we have to embrace these wonderful tools of communication, or as some of my colleagues will say, these nightmares of communication and information sources that we now have to become so familiar with that we take them for granted. But it is like this common in everything save education. And this thrust that was implemented largely because of the COVID pandemic unveiled a need for us to have connectivity that could adequately serve in the delivery of education to our students. The challenge was to harness and hone the tools to produce a truly competent digital native or digital citizen development that focused on, and I've lost my paper in the process, as I was saying, development that would have focused on technical literacy, critical thinking skills, just to name a few of them. Not to mention as well too, in there dealing with this technology, that if you're in my age group, it is a constant relearning. Here at the Ellerslie School, we have determined that our mindset is about how we do education. So we have tried wherever possible to be pioneers in our attempt, in our application and in our strategies when it comes to the education of our nation's children. Thus, this partnership program between Project Discovery and Legacy Foundation is one that we deem to be of paramount importance. It offered an opportunity, and it continues to offer an opportunity to provide a quality of connectivity not previously in existence in our school here at the Ellerslie, and I'm sure that would be the tune that would be echoed for other educators in other secondary institutions. It therefore gives me great pleasure as the principal acting at the Ellerslie School to be at this juncture in our educational journey. This is a relationship that I believe it has far-reaching positive consequences towards the growth, the development, and the give back from foundations such as Legacy. It has provided an opportunity for a youth service where our nation's children can participate in projects such as Project Discovery. Our children, our students are now actively involved in problem solving on a wide scale outside of the classroom, and they've become part of the solution. Thus, this partnership, we are able to say, offers a development of a digital literacy that our students would not enjoy without the support that comes from corporate Barbados and from charities such as Legacy. To be a part of this nexus of development, it is needed at such a time for the paradigm shift that is needed in education. It therefore gives me pleasure, and I speak not only on behalf of the Ellerslie School, but I also speak on behalf of my colleague, Mrs. Maxwell, at the Springer Memorial. We are both beneficiaries of this, and we are grateful for this attempt that has been made, these efforts that have been put in, this level of connectivity. And as we welcome you here this evening, as we commence this journey, or as we continue this journey, let me just say we celebrate in this success that has been achieved and that will be achieved even further in terms of the level of connectivity that we are able to do and the expansion that we are able to give as we execute and as we operate within the realm of educating our nation's children for the 21st century. So once again, welcome to you. You are now an ex officio member of the Ellerslie family. Welcome to you.
Thank you, Principal Austin. Principal Austin, I did stutter on your first name because when we met, you were Principal Austin to me. And it's a challenge for me to think of your first name, so I will give you that just due, and you will always be Principal Austin. Thank you for your fantastic words and your fantastic welcome. There are many of you in the audience who were here earlier and enjoyed some fantastic singing by some of the students here at Ellerslie. I must say, the talent abounds, absolutely abounds. I stood in awe. That's a musical talent for the future, most definitely. I now welcome Miss Tamara King, Director of Project Discovery, Inc., to bring some remarks. Ms. King?
Board of Trustees of Legacy Foundation, let me start that again. Mrs. Maureen Graham, Chairperson of the Board of Trustees of Legacy Foundation. Board members of the Board of Trustees of Legacy Foundation. Chairperson and members of the Board of Directors of Project Discovery, Inc. Mrs. Stacia Austin, Principal of the Ellerslie School. Mrs. Mitchell Maxwell, Principal of Springer Memorial School, members of the Executive Committee of Project Discovery Barbados, Legacy Project Discovery Bolt Project Team, Technical Advisor, Mr. Adam Clark, Legacy Project Discovery Bolt Project Team, members of the press, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Okay, my name is Tamara King. I am a director of Project Discovery Barbados, and I would just like to share a bit on what Project Discovery is, so you would have a better understanding of, well, who we are and what we do, and kind of what our mindset is when it comes to situations and projects such as these. So to begin, I was hoping to have a bit of an interactive and less of me talking to you or talking at you rather, but give you something to think about even if you don't respond to me immediately. I would like everyone to think about what successful education is. What makes education successful? Now, this is a very important point because Project Discovery generally is focused on being an appendix to education, and I would like to begin this presentation with a quote by Dr. Eric Williams. To increase student engagement and ownership of learning, we should give students opportunities to do meaningful work that makes a difference locally, nationally, and globally. So just let that sink in. So what is Project Discovery? Project Discovery is a community service learning organization, and community service learning is one thing that when we try to define it to others, they tend to not understand exactly what it encompasses. So I will try to give a brief, general definition of it. Community service learning generally is the integration of service activities that address human and community needs into the course of education. So it connects the knowledge and the theories that you would learn in the classroom to practices and practical experiences by combining service with reflection in the structured learning environments. So this learning and this community service learning can happen directly, indirectly, or through advocacy. What we would consider the ideal outcome of Project Discovery is to encourage students to think creatively, to be leaders, to train leaders, to have a strong identity not only as citizens of their own country, but citizens of the Caribbean region, to be innovative in their problem solving, and of course, to be motivated and motivating to others. So Project Discovery began in 2008. It was a rather small endeavor with 9 students from 6 institutions, the four sixth form schools at the time, and the Barbados Community College and what was the Samuel Jackman Prescott Polytechnic at the time. Since then, in the last 12 years, we have grown to having over 350 students pass through our program from over 20 institutions in Barbados, as well as regionally, over 700 students from over 41 institutions, that's 6th form schools, all secondary schools, and colleges, universities, and polytechnics across the region. As it stands today, we have 2 established chapters, one in Barbados, which was established in 2008, and one in Trinidad and Tobago, which was established in 2016. We also have groups of Project Discovery members in Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Grenada, and we're working very hard on establishing official chapters in those territories, but unfortunately with the COVID-19 pandemic over the past year and a half, getting the training for the directors and the executive has been very difficult, and a lot more difficult than we would like. So Project Discovery, using these models, basically runs 6 programs. The first would be the community service, of course, which would be the direct service learning. We also run seminars for schools, for teachers, and for parents. We have advocacy, research, and documentation programs, the Caribbean Youth Forum on the Environment and Development, which was noted as CARIFED, innovation and development program, as well as scholarship programs. So I will begin just giving a little bit about the seminar series that we run. So SEAS, which stands for Studying for Excellence and Success, is structured with 4 programs mainly. The first being the Time Management Series, which trains students, teachers, and parents to create unique, flexible schedules that fit their lifestyle by having them consider the time in the day, 24 hours, you don't get any more than that, and the amount of things that you need to do in that 24 hours. So this program was created more with students in mind, but it was expanded to teachers and parents over the years. And this project boasts finding at least 30 hours of study time for students weekly. Now, I have done this, I've been a part of this series as a participant and as a facilitator. I can tell you, you will find 30 hours if you're a student. You think you don't have time, you will find 30 hours of study. And it is still a technique that I use even today as I went through university. It helped me throughout university. The second program that is run is a stress management program, which is more targeted towards teachers and parents along the same lines of scheduling, which of course a schedule for a teacher, especially a teacher who is a parent, will be a little different for that of a student who only has responsibilities for themselves. And also with seminars on mental health care and stress management. There's also the Selecting a Tertiary Institution program, which is targeted to students in 4th and 5th form, and those who will be leaving 6th form, if you're already in 6th form, going into colleges or universities. And it helps the parents and students make informed decisions about university options in the Caribbean, scholarship opportunities, loan options, career paths, and the study abroad options that should be considered in their next step in their education. The final part of the SEAS program is the entrepreneurship program, which is facilitated by EY Barbados. This is a partnership that EY has formed with Project Discovery over the last few years. And this series is for students who are interested in entrepreneurship and who have a desire to start their own business, or for those who have already started one and would like to develop themselves in the area of entrepreneurship. And it trains these participants in marketing, financing, and growing their business. This project is currently underway. It's the 5th season of the EYE project, as we call it. And it has been open to more than students right now. You can, if you are just a person who's interested in entrepreneurship, you are still able to take part in this project. So over the years, we have, the SEAS project has been running since 2008 when Project Discovery was formed. So over the last 12 years, we have run over 50 training sessions, which has seen over 800 students, parents, and teachers pass through from over 20 schools and organizations in Barbados and the region. The next project, or the next program of Project Discovery, is the CARI-FED program, which is the most popular among students. CARI-FED stands, as I said, for the Caribbean Youth Forum on Environment and Development, and it is a study abroad program that's held in the summer of every year, where students visit a Caribbean territory to investigate and conduct a comparative study on a theme of regional development significance while conducting and participating in seminar and symposia. And this is where the Caribbean identity really comes out in CARI-FED, because this forum is marketed to the entire region. Usually there are no less than 5 territories being represented at these forums. And for 2 weeks, the students engage in activities which make them more globally and regionally aware, more culturally literate, not only in their own culture, but in those of other Caribbean territories. They become civically engaged and responsive to the needs of others. The first few days of this forum are dedicated to community service. You're required to do 40 hours of community service in order to qualify for this program. So we take our community service very, very important. It's not just you come and go on vacation. You have to do your community service in order to qualify for this program. And this community service must be done in your home country before coming to the CARI-FED, where you will do an additional 2 days of community service, which usually takes the form of visiting the elderly, cleaning schools. There were years where we built buildings and repaired homes for persons. So we have had 11 forums so far. Of course, last year we were unable to have one with the COVID-19 pandemic raging. And we have had these programs running. We visited 4 territories, but 6 territories usually are represented. And in these 11 years, over 280 students and teachers and parent chaperones have passed through. The next program is the Scholarship and Student Assistance Program, which gives financial assistance on a needs basis to students who have gained places in tertiary institutions, as well as students who have been deemed to merit participation in the CARI-FED program, where the training for directors and executives occurs during the program. And the assistance usually is limited to persons enrolled in undergraduate programs, but target groups generally are those who have successfully completed at least the introductory level of a bachelor's degree program. So since this program has been running, we have offered over $8,500 US in scholarships and grants to over 30 students from 6 territories across the region. And we're only hoping that this number increases as we move on through the years. Advocacy, research, and documentation is a very important part of the Project Discovery program. As I like to say, if a tree falls in the forest and I wasn't there to see it and nobody else was there to see it, how do we really know that it fell, let alone made a noise? Our program and the Project Discovery membership has worked on a series of documentation projects and research projects. Usually we collaborate with the Caribbean Policy Development Center We have had collaborations with the Caribbean Youth Environment Network as well as the Ministry of Environment. Finally, innovation and development. Sorry. I'm so sorry. The Innovation and Development Program aims to develop, coordinate, and execute innovative projects that are planned, designed, constructed, or executed by the Project Discovery members in their home country. So these programs are not run by the directorship or the board. It's run by the members, which are the 14 to 29-year-olds that are a part of the Project Discovery program. Notable projects we have had in innovation and development include the Agrigy project, which is I believe it's called a small ruminants processing facility. The best description I can give of that is where they process, as in, I don't want to get graphic, but they process small animals and stuff. But it was also meant to be an environmentally sustainable endeavor. And this was funded, we received grant funding from the United Nations Development Program. We also ran a hovercraft project. This hovercraft was constructed from scratch, by the Project Discovery members. And this was entered in this was the first multi-school project that Project Discovery ran, and it was entered in the National Science and Technology Expo, which some of you may know as the SciTech Expo. Additionally, what I consider my favorite project was the Demo Farm Solar Dryer, which was done in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, which was a project that dehydrates fruits and vegetables using solar energy. And currently the advocacy and the innovation, the research, development, and documentation and innovation programs have been stalled ever so slightly by the effects of the protocols and the directives of the COVID-19 pandemic in Barbados. But in true Project Discovery fashion, we try our best not to let those things stop us from doing the work that needs to be done in the country. So currently we have 3 major projects that are being run in addition to the EYE program. And the first of these is the Care Package project. So the Care Package project is a response to the economic challenges that undoubtedly will face parents and have been facing parents and students in September 2021 and now as the schools begin to slowly reopen. So some of these challenges that we hope to address would be the needs, providing basic needs for the students, such as the school colors and school uniforms, which would be the epaulets, belts, and socks. It's been a year and a half. Teenagers grow. School uniforms are expensive. Paying petty fees, since that is usually how you access education, your exercise books and your textbooks, as well as facilitating the provision of bags, calculators, geometry sets, and any other paraphernalia that the students would need in order to have a solid and stress-free education, or at least as stress-free as we can help them make it. Our next project is the Cub Scout project. And this project has been ongoing to an extent. It has been a bit of a slow burn since 2017, where we began working with Cub Scouts from the St. Stephen's Primary School in helping them qualify for a few badges. But in the process of collaborating and just discussions with their leaders, we learned that there actually was an issue with a lack of leadership in the Cub Scout Association, particularly that of male leadership for the young boys in the movement across the island. So Project Discovery has began work in assisting St. Stephen's Primary School in addition to Deacon's Primary and other Cub Scout packs over the last 4 years by conducting sessions in environment, alternative energy, co-starvation issues, and then we were called to examine the Cub Scouts to determine their proficiency and award the badges. Since then, we have also, the executive actually, has reached out to some of these packs, formalizing these arrangements. And the Cub Scout Association has actually begun a partnership with Project Discovery to train some of the young men who have been assisting in the Cub Scouts packs, to train them so that they can be deployed as full-time or even part-time leaders for different packs around the island. Now, although this project has been ongoing for about 4 years, it's still in its pilot stages as we're finalizing some of the details of the project. But we are hoping that as this goes on, we can access and train more leaders, especially those male leaders, for these young boys in the Boy Scout Association. And finally, the boat project, which is what we are all, I assume, most of us are here for. The boat project is a very special project to many of us. It's very special to me because it forms a very major part of the research that I have been conducting in completing my own thesis for my degree. The boat project is an internet connectivity solution for public schools, which allows the schools to operate in the blended classrooms, which should not be confused with blended learning or teaching, but the blended classrooms, which is where there are some students in the classroom. So this boat project is actually meant to be an ongoing project. It's not meant to stop not if the pandemic is over. But we hope that it goes into the foreseeable future, providing a reliable internet connectivity in 100% of the teaching spaces on a school compound. We've seen it happen with the Ellerslie School and with the Springer Memorial School, and we're hoping that this can happen for every single primary and secondary school across the island. This would allow for blended classrooms and also the establishment for the foundation of smart schools in Barbados. So this brings us to the end of my presentation, and I just want to repeat that quote that I mentioned in the beginning for those in the room right now who are involved in education, whether that is as an educator or as someone who is being educated. To increase student engagement and ownership of learning, we should give students opportunities to do meaningful work that makes a difference locally, nationally, and globally. So we've left our socials and our contacts on the slide. You can reach us on Instagram at project_discovery246. That will be the official Instagram page for Project Discovery Barbados. You can also access us to find out more about any of Project Discovery Inc.'s programs and any activities that could be happening across the region at projectdiscoverycaribbean.com. And if you are interested in membership, or if you have any questions or any comments, you can send an email to project_discovery@yahoo.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tamara King. I'm sure that those of us in the audience who are a bit older are as excited as me to hear about the amazing things that an organization founded by young people, with young people on their board of directors, have been doing. A locally founded organization that's spreading its wings in the Caribbean. No one knows us better than we know ourselves. And these young people demonstrate to us the positive things that young people in our communities are doing. I think we need more of that highlighted in our media and our social spaces. I now invite Ms. Jalissa Bannister and Ms. Destiny Walters to bring some remarks. They're the student leaders of the Project Discovery BOLT project. Ms. Bannister and Ms. Walters.
Good afternoon. My name is Jalissa Bannister, and this is my colleague, Destiny Walters. What is BOLT? Since COVID made itself present in Barbados, schools had to be shut down at other institutions, leading to students having to learn from school and in an online environment. I adhered to COVID protocols throughout that time. Due to this, education became less accessible to us students to learn and be able to interact with our teachers to ask questions and be offered a solution to these problems. The suggestion of blended learning was made by the Ministry of Education. However, due to the low connectivity throughout the schools in Barbados, it was difficult for the students and teachers. It was difficult for the students and teachers to be able to interact online and have more access to being able to, for the students to be able to communicate and have a educational and interactive and more fun and learning process. Though this was the case for having online learning, the loss of instructional time was $500,000 and was a great loss for us students and made it difficult for us to have our studies and our syllabuses be completed within the time span allocated to us so that we could participate in exams. This led to quite a lot of mental issues being brought about. These mental issues frustrated us students and caused us to be very agitated and very anxious and depressed. Other students may have felt like killing themselves, and it made me feel very upset that these students had to go through this along with us. But anyways, this brings us to our next slide.
All protocols being observed. Good evening. As my colleague said, my name is Destiny Walters. Please pay attention to the screen.
But what we cannot do is lose any more instructional time in the classroom.
As you just heard, the Honorable Ms. Santia Rocha said that we can't lose any more time. Well, we in 2021, and she said this in March the 25th, 2021, we already lost a tremendous time. And as a student, that is not a good thing at all.
And to continue to see the increase and the rise in the number of the mental health issues that are.
As my colleague has said, the mental health is, whoa. Try being a student and realize that you can't finish the syllabus or you running out of time. That is really hard. And to see my other colleagues go through the same thing, it's even more pressure and more frustrating for us.
Confronting our students and confronting our teachers. The time is now, and I hope that I have the support of all of the stakeholders to be able to make this exercise work.
So I only got one question for you. Are you going to be part of the solution, or are you going to stay back and watch us suffer even more? What did we do? In May, June 2020, we gathered information from our colleagues, parents, teachers, and other educators about the connectivity issues at the school. After getting this information, we came together as a group and discussed some possible solutions that can help with the connectivity issues. In October 2020, In October 2020, we have actually found a solution for this. So we approached 3 secondary schools and 1 primary school with the solution at no cost at the school at all. However, sadly, majority of the schools denied us except for 1. So between October and December 2020, we gave the teachers the system to test, and it was actually a very successful test. In one case, a teacher actually had half of her class at school and the other half at home doing the same test at the same exact time. Then in December 2020, we were invited to have a meeting about the project with the Chief Education Officer.
We went to the Ellerslie School with 14 members from Project Discovery to assess the situation within the campus and solve the problem so that we would be able to have connectivity throughout all classrooms. We designed this we took many single strength tests within each classroom over hundreds of times to ensure that the system was efficient and to make sure that all classrooms had the connectivity necessary to conduct classes and have blended classrooms. We made a mocked-up solution to the problem that we had solved within the campus and presented it so that they can see that this could be done. Take a brief look at this short video of the process we went throughout the Springer School assessment in order to solve this problem. In February 2021 to April 2021, the project has seemed to have been frozen or almost dead within the Spring Memorial School due to higher authorities causing us to have to start the project near the ending where we were able to finally install the devices. And I was quite frustrated as to see why someone would want to stop a project that could solve so much for us students. However, on April 2021, The Ellerslie School approached us and allowed us to come and investigate the situation within the school and install the devices, which was, I find, as quite an achievement considering all the problems that we had faced. And I thank the Ellerslie School.
As good as this project and as good as we wanted it to run smoothly, we had some challenges. Some of our challenges were permissions, balancing school and the project, and funding. So let's talk a bit about permissions. As a young student working hard, being dedicated to this project, in the hot sun for over 3 hours walking around schools, taking data over and over and over again to make sure that this project actually runs very smoothly and it's actually a help to our colleagues. To be honest, I do not know why someone would seize the project. I mean, they can't say that it doesn't go through walls, or it can't say the signal strength not strong enough, or it's not gonna last. We tested it ourselves. We designed signal maps. We actually carried the equipment ourselves around the school to make sure that it works smoothly. And it does. If you don't believe me, you can ask Ashley, Florian, or my colleague here. It actually does work. And an understanding and caring person that wants to see the generation and the next generation to improve and be successful will not seize the project. They will actually assist us in making it go faster and making sure that the project actually runs smoothly. Okay, our next challenge was balancing school and the project. As you know, the students that work on the project was actually still going to school and still have to managing CAPE, CXC, and any other exam. It wasn't easy at all. Sometimes we even had to come to other schools before we actually go to our school, or sometimes we had to do late night after 1 a.m. studying just to make sure that we still stay ahead of our schoolwork, because there's no way that we were gonna actually miss out on our schoolwork. Not on our parents' house, for sure. So we actually consulted Mr. King and Mr. Clark about possible solutions that could actually assist us in managing both the project and our schoolwork. Thank God it was actually helpful, and we actually got it done, and we were successful in everything that we actually did. And I actually want to say thank you to the parents, for sticking with us and actually staying the long hours that we had to go through the schools and actually driving to the other side of the country. All that, I actually really am thankful for you guys, and I know y'all didn't really want to be in the sun, but thank you. Okay, our next challenge was the fundings. In the beginning, we really didn't have enough equipment to do our testing and stuff like that. So we actually improvised. We actually used some of the equipment that we found in schools and ordered our pieces in with the equipment to make it run even more smoothly. We actually right now have our testing equipment up in Ellerslie, and actually it's actually going really good. And we actually I want to thank Ellerslie School and the principal for actually allowing us to actually do our testing here, actually proving a point that we can do this project. And thank you again. Although we have challenges, we actually have triumphs too. For example, the Ellerslie School. The Ellerslie School is actually partially completed, and students and teachers are now utilizing 100 times more than they were able to pre-bolt. And what y'all do not know is that actually 4 weeks ago, there was no Wi-Fi in this very auditorium. But because of the boat project, thank you. And because of the boat project, we are actually now live streaming this event across the world to various countries for whoever actually wants to see it. Our Okay, our next triumph is the Spring Memorial School. I actually want to thank y'all for coming today. The Spring Memorial School has granted permission for the boat to be continued to completion by Project Discovery. And I want to actually thank you for the Legacy Foundation for actually securing the approval for the funders to complete at Ellerslie and the Spring Memorial School. I really thank you guys. Y'all don't actually know how good it feels to actually see our project go up and be actually successful. Like, our hard work and dedication actually paid off. Next good news, we have been invited to other schools. We have been invited to the other secondary schools to address the connectivity issues. So hopefully we get that up and running as soon as possible, so we can have more students actually working, and instead of trying to panic, we be calm and relax.
What next? We would like to see more opportunities given to the youth and Project Discovery in order to complete this project and allow students to participate in this project in order to secure an educational system online for us to be able to interact with our teachers and have a way of getting the access needed to complete our studies for the upcoming exams and other exams throughout the years. We would also like to see more students get involved in the boat project so that they themselves can be able to have a learning experience and be able to learn leadership, as well as being able to rectify a problem that we have proven can be done. And I'm very excited to see that this is happening and this has occurred. And also an opportunity for teachers to be able to learn from the board members in order how to operate this system and keep this system running for many years to come. We would like more decision makers to give us, the youth, more opportunities instead of stifling our creativity, and allow us to excel in what we know we can do. I would also like for more private and public organizations to be involved in this project so that we can provide systems to other schools and allow equity among schools and fair learning for everyone within this environment of as students and us and teachers, so that we will be able to have fair studies among students, and so that we will all have a fair chance within exams and within finishing our syllabuses for the years to come. Thank you for your time and for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Bannister and Ms. Waltress. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not often that young people get the opportunity to stand and present before an audience such as this. So I want you to give them another round of applause, because these young ladies did a fantastic job. Well done. We all know that in life, there's nothing when it comes to a technical hitch. And these things happen, yeah? But through this BOLT program, as the lady said, we're broadcasting live and in color across the world. So get some smiles out there for later from behind those masks. Ladies and gentlemen, I now invite the Chairman of Legacy Foundation Board of Trustees, Mrs. Maureen Graves, to bring some remarks on behalf of Legacy Foundation.
If I had my way, I would just stand before you now and say, thank you to Project Discovery for allowing Legacy Foundation to discover that project. But since I have a board to report to, and I want to keep my little pickings, I'll have to go beyond that. Members of the Board of Trustees of Legacy Foundation, Chairperson and members of the Board of Directors of Project Discovery, Inc., Mrs. Stacia Austin, Principal of Ellerslie School, Mrs. Michelle Maxwell, Principal of Springer Memorial School, members of the Executive Committee, Project Discovery Barbados, Legacy PD Bold Project Team Technical Advisor, and that's a long term, Adam Clark, other distinguished guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, and of course my little ones, good afternoon. It is indeed an honor and privilege for me as chairman of the Legacy Foundation to join you on this very special occasion as we commemorate the launch of the Project Discovery Barbados Online Learning and Teaching, or BOLT project. Please allow me to provide you with a brief history about Legacy Foundation. But before I get into the details, I would like to introduce my board. Because remember I said earlier I have to report to them, so I have to pick them up, you see? This afternoon, we have with us Sister Io Burrows, and I would like them to stand as I call their names and be recognized. And this is our Deputy Chair. Thank you. We have Sister Patsy Critchlow, who you heard from earlier, our Secretary. Thank you. And we have a member of our trustees, Sister Kiva Cadogan. And we are not feminists. We do have other members of the board. They are Brother Cranston Brown, Brother Courtney Gibson, and Brother Cedric Murrell, who were unable to join with us this afternoon due to prior commitments. However, they've asked me to extend their warmest regards. Now, Legacy Foundation is a registered charity, number 978, registered on December 19, 2012, by the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited for the sole purpose of giving back to the community for the benefit of the people. It is the philanthropic arm of the Barbados Public Workers Group, which includes the Barbados Public Workers Credit Union Limited, Capital Financial, and Capital Insurance Brokers. And the foundation, has been funded by appropriations as well as donations from individual members and the general public. The foundation was designed to fulfill the mandate of the credit union, which is to develop the economic and social well-being of its members. The focus of Legacy Foundation is to support projects and causes on a macro level for greater impact, in keeping with our objectives, which are wellness, empowerment, and learning, while enhancing the visibility of the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union and its subsidiary contribution to society. From inception to date, the foundation has provided funding to projects in excess of $800,000. We are proud to say that 100% of the funds donated to the foundation by personal donations are used for projects such as Project Discovery Bold Project. Legacy Foundation is proud to partner with Project Discovery, Inc. as we launch the Bold Project at the Ellerslie School and soon to follow the Springer Memorial School. As we know, the COVID-19 pandemic has affected our educational systems, and even though schools have started to reopen, the health protocol have severely reduced the number of students allowed to be in classrooms and on the physical school compound. These physical distancing requirements have created challenges to the delivery of quality formal education across the country. Our donation has enabled Project Discovery to launch this project at a time when, in our opinion, it is most needed. This initiative by Project Discovery will help mitigate some of the challenges on the discovery of educational instruction through the provision of internet access to all classrooms and teaching areas. This enhanced access can be utilized by teaching staff to maximize student-teaching interaction opportunities, therefore allowing students to benefit more efficiently from the remaining time of our already seriously abbreviated school year and beyond. And of course, you have heard this before from the younger people. This is just an older head sort of summarizing it and giving it back to you. The BOLD project, the first of its kind, has created the foundation for future smart schools here in Barbados. And we have been advised that already through the Legacy Foundation donations, the students at Ellerslie School can now confirm their ability to do e-testing in 12 subjects. I think that deserves that honor, of course. The trustees and I, we are very excited to learn that young people were significantly involved in the development of all aspects of this project. And we are also pleased to see that they are the ones who make up the board of directors of Project Discovery, Inc. Here we see young people doing positive things in the community. This funding of this project by Legacy Foundation demonstrates the foundation commitment to supporting our communities. We take this responsibility very seriously only because of the impact that it will make on the young people whose lives will benefit from having access to learn from anywhere on the school compound. Legacy Foundation looks forward to growing our partnership with Project Discovery, Inc. and any other organization with projects that have positive impact on the communities across Barbados. I encourage you to contact any one of our trustees. You have been introduced to them earlier, or our program development coordinator, Hanif Moore, who is also the master of ceremonies for today's proceedings, who can tell you more about the foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, let me close where I started by saying how excited we are to be part of this project and how happy we are to see all of you, especially the young people. I thank you for being here, and we look forward to getting to know you a little better during the afternoon. I wish to thank you all very much, and of course, I want to bless you all, and I'll ask you to keep safe. God bless you.
So Legacy Foundation is the charitable arm of the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited. We were set up back in 2013 with an idea or mandate really set by our members to give back to the communities where Barbados Public Workers and its group of companies operate.
The Kidney Association is pleased to be associated with Legacy Foundation. They've really helped us tremendously in the dialysis unit. On behalf of the Kidney Association, I would like to say thank you, a big thank you to the Legacy Foundation for their generous donation, because we know that without them, we would not be able to achieve our goals.
Legacy was the first person on board, and I can't thank my credit union enough for doing that for my son and for all the other students that are here. They've always been there for us throughout his entire life. He's been a member of the credit union his entire life, and they've never disappointed me.
Legacy has been a great contributor to the expansion of base and its environment, reconstructing the facility so that the young people are freer to move around and be able to do more. And we are truly thankful that Legacy Foundation was willing to pour so much into not only our ideas, but our environment and who we are, to give the young people an opportunity to grow and develop.
I take this opportunity on behalf of the students, staff, and of course the principal of the Charles F. Memorial Primary School to say a heartfelt thank you to the Legacy Foundation. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you very much.
The Legacy Foundation changed a dream into reality.
I want to say thank you so much to the Legacy Foundation for allowing us to really get our creative outflow and turn it into something beautiful.
With your support, Legacy Foundation would have the ability to do so much more. We humbly ask that you donate so that we can continue to expand and continue our mission to make a difference in the lives of those who need it the most. Please donate today. You have the power to change lives. Thank you, Chairman, Mrs. Graham, for your remarks on behalf of Legacy. We shared with you a brief video about some of the work that we have done over the years. I hope that some of you have seen and recognized some of the things that we have done on that screen, and we'll be proud to add Project Discovery's BOLT project onto that video. You know, we want that video at some point to be half an hour. So we got some work to do. Before I invite Mr. Gregden Griffith to give our vote of thanks, I'd like to acknowledge the members of the Board of Directors of Project Discovery, Inc., who are with us today. If you can stand as I called your name. Chairman, Project Discovery, Tyrone King. Director, Miss Kemi Brewster. Director, Jamari Gaskin. Our technical guru there at the back. Director, Miss Taimara King. And Director, Ms. Ramona King. Thank you. It's been a pleasure to work with Mr. King, and I look forward to working with the rest of the team as we advance this BOLT project forward. And Mrs. Mitchell Maxwell, we're coming to you next. I now invite Gregden Griffith, Director, Project Discovery, Inc., to bring the vote of thanks.
Blessed good evening to everyone. Thank you, Mr. Moore, for the introduction. First, I think it is appropriate that we thank God for giving us the strength and grace to allow this project to go from start to completion. And I look forward for the boat project being implemented in as many institutions as is possible. I think one of our student leaders would have mentioned it in her presentation. Equity of the learning environment is crucial. If we are all to be treated as one people, we need to act like it. And this is just one of the many steps that we need to take. That being said, I'd first like to thank the chairman of the board of the Ellerslie School, Mr. Stephen Williams. I'd like to thank Mrs. Stacia Austin, principal of the Ellerslie School. Equally, the principal of the Springer Memorial School, Ms. Michelle. Our new partner, and I hope this relationship lasts for as long as is possible, the Legacy Foundation, more specifically, Mrs. Maureen Graham, chairman of the Legacy Foundation Board of Trustees. I cannot say this enough, we thank you. I'd like to thank Sister Patsy Critchlow, the Secretary of the Legacy Foundation Board of Trustees, for her invocation at the beginning of these proceedings. I'd like to thank Ms. Tamara King for her remarks on behalf of Project Discovery. I'd like to thank Mr. King for his assistance and facilitation throughout the entire process. I don't think words can express the work and the duty he pays towards students across the island. And from a personal point, I'd like to thank you for everything you have done for all students that you touch. To our student leaders of Project Discovery Boat Project, Ms. Jaleesa Bannister and Ms. Destiny Walters, you did an amazing job, and I look forward to seeing more from you. To the technical advisor, Mr. Adam Clark, for the boat project, thank you so much for your assistance. I believe you would have passed on some invaluable skills to these students that will take for the rest of their life, most definitely. To Mr. Moore, thank you for being Masters of Ceremony, and we will have further conversations. To all of the stakeholders of Project Discovery that would have assisted in any way, I would like to thank you for everything you've done. You are allowing us to mold the future of Barbados one student at a time, and it is a most important and civic duty that we owe to ourselves. The more you put into your future, the better it is for your children and their children. And we need to work towards reaching a Barbados that we would all be proud of. And I think we should all put our hands together for the work that we have done together and the work we will do in the future. With that being said, for those I forgot, I do apologize, and for whatever work you would have done, no matter how small, it is of great importance, and we thank you. I'll now hand it back over to Mr. Moore. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Griffith. I appreciate your remarks. Just before we wrap up, it would be bad of me not to acknowledge one other person who's here. She's the recording secretary for the Board of Trustees, who so graciously agreed to come down and assist me this evening. That's Miss Joanne Lovell. She likes me in the background, but I'll get her to stand up. She's an integral part of the Legacy Foundation board and team. She studiously takes all the minutes from our meeting. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you again on behalf of the chairman and the members of the board of Legacy Foundation for joining us this evening. We are going to invite you. So the formalities are over. Now we get a little bit more informal. Engage with each other, have some conversations. I'll make myself available as best I can. The trustees are here. The Project Discovery Board of Directors are here. We will do it appropriately socially distanced, 3 feet. So I'd like to invite our specially invited guests, the ushers will show you, to join us for light refreshments in the auditorium courtyard. And I'm proud to say that our caterers, you would have seen on this screen, they're from the Barbados Association for Supported Employment First Base Program. They provide opportunities for differently abled young men and women to learn a skill, primarily culinary. They do an amazing job. They make some fantastic products. You will get to taste them firsthand. And they're located in the Greenwich Chapel, Greenwich and St. James. If you're interested, please give them a try. They do some delicious food and drink. And this shows the legacy's commitment to the projects and partners we engage with. We're about sustainability. We don't give money and run away. We want to make sure that our partners are successful because your success is our success. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please remain seated. We'll do our dignitaries first, and then we'll invite all of the guests to join us in the courtyard. Thank you.